Good day to you wherever you are, and thank you for making us part of your day, whether it's live or catching the replay on YouTube. I'm John Jerkowitz, and welcome to the Career Corner. Start small, start now. My really special guest today is Ms. Doreen Guma, and I'm really excited to have her on the Start Small, Start Now Career Corner scheduled hangout on air. I know that's quite a mouthful. Doreen and I share one thing in common. Well, we share a lot of things in common, but the one thing we share in common today is we're both about neck deep in snow, and she's put up with it all winter. And we had 14 inches dumped on us last night, and most of my prayer last night and today was that I'd have power and an internet connection to be able to do this. So, Doreen, welcome, and I'm going to allow you to take some time and introduce yourself and tell us all about you, and we'll go from there.
Oh, well, thank you so much, John, for having us. You know, basically, whenever I introduce the whole concept, it is us, because we are people helping people in a team, as you know, because you are part of the Time to Play Foundation's team. But so my name is Doreen Guma. I've worked in healthcare for the past since 1987, so it's like going on 29 years. I say all the time I've seen the sick and sad, and I don't think that that really has to be. And that's one of the founding reasons behind Time to Play, because it is up to us to enjoy life. And I have been a specialist in quality improvement, and Time to Play is a humongous quality improvement project. I like to learn. I am a board-certified healthcare executive. I did a life coach certification, again, just to learn. I am a New York State diabetes prevention counselor, so I could learn about people, learn about how they think, learn what they need. You know, how do you convince somebody to take charge of their life? You can't. They have to do it themselves, right? But you can spark a change. You could spark some information in them. So I came up with the Time to Play philosophy. You have to be happy, healthy, have money, and a work-life balance to have quality of life. And have been building this whole thing, and the Time to Play Foundation, the goal of the foundation is to inspire everyone to enjoy life. That's the short version of the mission statement. So what else do you want to know? The long version. The long version is, of course, we are a 501c3 not-for-profit, and I can't ever remember the mission and purpose. You would think that I could remember. I can remember inspiring everyone to enjoy life. That's about it. But the mission and purpose is to enrich the lives of others through programs, public awareness, outreach activities, events, and learning opportunities that further the concept of enjoying life. And that's why I have John with us, because his ability to create outreach activities, events, programs, just, again, planting a seed of information in people. So, go ahead.
Question for you. Where did you come up with the Time for Play name? Could you talk a little bit about how that happened?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're motorcycle enthusiasts, and we had gone to Americade. I wrote about this in our book. Oh, I got a picture of the cover since I couldn't get to the office with the snow. But it is called If I Knew Then What I Know Now. So it's on, if you go to timetoplay.com, you can get it. It's on Amazon, it's on barnesandnoble.com and everything. So we're at Americade, and do understand that since 2001, I've worked in skilled nursing. I've talked to people in the nursing homes. You know, an 80-year-old person with their eyes, you could see they've had regret sometimes, and hopefully we can eliminate that with the concept of the Time to Play Foundation and what our advocacy is here. But we had gone to Americade, and this was in 2010, and this is when the seeds started really sparking for this idea. And we were driving around, and I started looking around and noticing that the people that were there, now granted, not everybody could just pick up and leave and go to a motorcycle rally for a couple days, but Americade is a very large, when we went in 2010, there were 30,000 motorcyclists. I mean, that's pretty big, right?
Yeah,
but we were
sure.
probably, right, we were probably like one of the youngest people there, and I started to thinking and realize, when do you have time to play? So in our society, this is my opinion, and hopefully other people will agree, we're taught, go to college, right? Go to school, do all your stuff, go to school, go to college, get in debt, get a job you hate, wish it was Friday every single day, right? We wish it's Friday so we can be out of there, right? Right? Save for retirement, because we have to save for retirement. Save for retirement, retire, and you die. And that's it. You try to squish everything in, because we're supposed to wait till we retire to enjoy our life, are we not?
Correct.
And, right, this is what they teach us. You know, work, raise your kids, have your family, retire, and then you can enjoy your life for a couple of years. So I started asking, so when do you have time to play? When do you start to enjoy your life? And that's really where it sparked, looking at what I've seen in the nursing homes, in the people I've talked to, just looking at the statistics. There was an actual article that was on MSN a couple days ago about the increase of depression in our society, 21% increase that they have found from the year 2005 to the year 2010. A lot of issue regarding the economy and the 2008. And I'll send you that article, John, if you are interested.
Yeah,
you
please
can post
do.
It was on MSN. It was about a week ago or so, but they were saying about the 2008 financial decrease and how that really did affect a lot of people. So there comes the concept of, you have to be happy, healthy, have money, and a work-life balance to have quality of life, which is the time to play philosophy.
Yeah, let me just share something with you, and then I have another question, because you really kind of hit home with what you said. My dad passed away 3 years ago next week, and he was 87. And he ultimately died from congestive heart failure. And the last thing he said to me before he kind of slipped into a coma, and he took the oxygen mask up, and he looked at me and he said, "You know, I've lived a good long life, but gosh, it's gone by fast."
Absolutely.
And he was 87, okay? And I'm sitting there going, it went by fast. And that's had such an impact on me since that time. Okay, let me ask you another question, because as I'm sitting here listening to you, okay, time to play is for everybody.
Absolutely.
If my 10-year-old granddaughter found something in time to play that spoke to her, or my 84-year-old mother found something that spoke to her, this is a community and an initiative for everybody. Am I correct in the way I understand that?
Absolutely. And people have said, oh, you can't do that. So I'm thinking, okay, so we pick 45-year-old single divorced women, right? And those are the only people that we're going to focus on that are going to enjoy life. And I'm like, that's not even possible. So yes, we actually, and that's one of the things I even wrote in the beginning of the book, that hopefully we can save people time. One of the things that John knows I'm very excited about, for the past 2 years I've been working on a research study with the superintendent of schools here, and again, I didn't note my background is in quality improvement. So what is quality improvement? Let me just digress for a moment.
Sure.
Quality improvement is where you identify something, because everything in our society, everything in our life can always be better, even if it's perfect. There is always an opportunity for improvement. So you look at statistics, I look at statistics, you look at situations, you look at something, right, and you identify areas for their improvement. So if we look at our youth, and we look at the statistics regarding self-harm, or suicide. Did you know that suicide is the third leading cause of death in our 10 to 24-year-old population? We don't hear these things. It's the 8th leading cause of death in our whole society. We hear about breast cancer an awful lot, but we don't hear about this type of thing. And Time to Play is not a suicide prevention or a depression prevention program. It's an enjoy life program. It's an enjoy life idea. And how could you say that, and again, I'm really heading to the youth. Dr. Rella is the superintendent of schools in Comstock School District, and like I said, we've been working on getting a research study together, which is actually ready, thank goodness to go. But Pre-Invent Your Life was born, and we just sent the trademark in for that And I'm so excited for that because my hope is to help. And my husband and I have this discussion all the time. Sorry, I'm getting, like so many different concepts going on.
No worries.
He's like, how do you know you're going to need something? But how do you not know that you're going to need to be happy, healthy, have money, and a work-life balance in life, right? Mm-hmm. So if we get tools, right, pre-invent your life. So we get tools on happiness, how to be happy, how to be more self-confident, how to talk to people, how to do public speaking, how to not let something bother you, how to forgive, all of these types of things for happiness, for health, how to prevent diabetes. That's why I did the diabetes prevention course. Just to listen to people that are teetering on a conversion to type 2 diabetes and, congestive heart failure, all of these disease processes are diabetes is very contributory to disease processes. So how do you get a person who could be educated? Like, seriously, in my courses that I did for the diabetes prevention class, 70-year-old people didn't know how to read labels. I kid you not. So little tips and tools of education, how to be happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance. Who doesn't need to know how to manage a checkbook or how to manage your money or how to do investing, not just to save to retirement, but to do other things so you can be happy, healthy, have money, and a work-life balance. You understand? So that's what pre-invent your life is. Even now, in our 40s, 50s, 60s, I'll be 50 years old this year, even now in all of this time period, there's still things that I can do to pre-invent instead of reinvent. So that's what AARP is doing, reinventing your life. They have a whole program going on. I could look that up. I forget, but it is if you Google AARP reinvent. So what's wrong with us the way we are? Why do we have to reinvent? Why can't we just work to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, pre-inventing our life instead of picking up the pieces and always dusting ourselves off, which is what our self-help industry teaches us. You crashed, you burned, okay, so let's fix you now. No. Why is that the way it is? So John and I are very proactive here. We're going to be doing some programs for career counseling and resume writing, getting the kids and the people to really know, because you know what if you have been in a job that you just took because you got stuck in it or you needed to pay the bills, and I wrote about this in the book, and you've hated it for the past 30 years. Well, we could keep going that way and keep wishing it was Friday, or we could listen to what John says and we could pre-invent our life.
Let me ask you another question, because I agree with you 100%. What about young people? You have a special mission with young people too, don't you?
Absolutely.
And, as a matter of fact, your whole family's involved in Time to Play, aren't they?
They are to a certain extent, absolutely. My daughter, a few months ago, I guess around September, she's 19 years old, and she actually was very contributory towards information that I used in the book for the chapter about suicide and depression, and not even knowing that our youth had that significant issue, and how many of us really do. Because it's very hush-hush and it's very taboo. We don't talk about that stuff, right? So she said to me a couple of weeks back, she goes, I have, like my friends, we have no place to go. You know, she's 19, even the younger kids, right? So if they're not in soccer, if they're not in baseball, if they're not at dance class, what are they doing? And she says, you know, the options I have, I can't get into a bar. You can't go to the movies every day, right? The option I have is going to somebody's house in their basement, we drink and we smoke pot. Seriously? That's horrible. That's horrible. So she decided she wanted to create a outlet for self-expression, a non-judgment, because you know what? You see people getting picked on all the time, or the bullying, or all this other crap that we deal with. And so she created this non-judgment thing called The Basement, and we actually use our office, and she has like a little open mic thing, and the kids come, and they're not really kids. I mean, there's nobody usually under 17 years old because it's not a babysitting service, right? And we do need to even go younger. There really is that need for these kids, because when you're alone, you think, right? And when you think, it's dangerous sometimes. So these young adults, anywhere from 17 to 40, 50, we've even had some older people, they come, she has things, people color, my whole entire office, and I'm sorry I'm not there because you could have seen, but it's just wall-to-wall art of coloring. You know, they make it, they hang it up on the wall. They do poetry, they do singing, they talk. They don't use their cell phones there. Oh my gosh, right? People talk. No judgment. Doesn't matter what you look like, who you are. Doesn't matter. You come, have a cup of tea. She does like tea, you know. And that's it. No drugs, no drinking. And the people are happy, so happy to be there. And that's her idea. So anybody interested, you could go on the Basement PJS for Port Jeff Station. That's where we are in New York. And you could see she posts videos, she posts pictures. And the Time to Play Foundation does sponsor that. So it is possible through the Time to Play Foundation.
Let me just make a comment on a couple things you said, because you spoke to some stuff that's really near and dear to my heart. I saw something on Facebook this morning a friend of mine shared that said the average minimum wage age is 36, not 16. Okay? And we've got all kinds of algorithms as to why, and I guess I have one too, and mine is that we just don't prepare young people to find meaningful employment. It's not that it's not out there. It's not that they're not qualified. They have the what. We don't teach them the how. And, you know, I'm 61 years old. Back in the day, okay, when you got to your senior year in high school, everybody didn't go to college that graduated in 1971. Some people went into the workforce, and so the school system took it upon themselves to say, hey, look, we're going to give you some real basic skills here. We're going to help you learn what you should say in an interview, what you shouldn't say, and we don't do that anymore. We are, and I really liked what you said earlier, Doreen, we're just recycling and we're reinventing. And so you graduate from high school or you even graduate from college. I had a client that did an interview here a while back, and the person was applying for a job in the IT department and had a pretty sterling education, but had spent his whole college being a lifeguard at Hilton Head during the summer. Now, that's a cool job, and don't get me wrong. If somebody give me a job being a lifeguard at Hilton Head, maybe 1 year. But when you come out of college and you can't find meaningful employment, and as you said earlier, you put yourself massively in debt, we're not helping these younger people. And that's one of the things that, one of many things that attracted me to the Time to Play Foundation was the fact that you have a commitment to that that next generation of people. So I just thought I'd share that.
Well, thank you, and that's why I kind of enticed you to come and work with me. Even though we're far, it doesn't really matter. As you could see, anybody could do anything nowadays. But, you know, I believe that, because my oldest is 23, believe it or not, he's a psychology and philosophy major at Baruch College in Manhattan. Fantastically smart, and he works at Junior's Cheesecake. Not joking. I've been asking him and telling him, you really need to get some type of position in some type of career that is associated with. And, you know, it's so much effort, as far as he says, to go to the career counseling at the college that, you know, he needs the easier way out because he still has to pay rent. He's on his own. You know, he has to pay rent. He has to pay the bills. He has to eat. And he has to do his classes. So I appreciate that, but you know what? You also have to think, again, go into pre-invent your life. So does he want to be a junior's cheesecake worker for his whole life? No, not with a double bachelor's, going for his doctorate, doing all these great things that he could contribute to society. But they look at, and the statistic is, again, I'm statistic happy, 56% of our college students are or underemployed. And I don't know about the regular people like us, when we get to be 50 and 60 looking for a position with all the experience. I have a master's degree, I have a board certification. I'm like, can I walk into some place and get a job? Or do they look at me and want to hire somebody that's 20? That's just what I hear. We devalue our society. In the book, it's not the book, it's a paper. But I wrote about that as well, the Walmart philosophy. And you're saying about these people who are 36 years old, excuse me, that have the minimum wage, positions. Yeah, we devalue our people. Nobody wants to pay anybody anymore. But you did say to me the other day that it costs $10,000.
Yeah, to hire somebody.
Right?
You need a drink?
So, yeah, I do. I've had a cold. I wonder why for like 2 weeks here. So
yeah, feel free. One of the things, Doreen, that I got to just pause for a minute here, and I got to do a little bit of a shout out to my wife, because my wife is normally at work when I do a hangout, so she always catches them later on YouTube. And she, because of 14 inches of snow, the bank is closed today. So she was actually and is out there viewing us live, and I promised her I'd embarrass her and give her a shout-out.
Hi. I love your husband. He's fabulous.
One of the things, and she might tell you can keep him, one of the things that we were talking about is that a veteran of these Google Hangouts told me a couple months ago. He said, John, you're just old enough to remember live TV. And I said, yeah, I am. I remember sitting on my grandfather's lap and watching a lot of old black and white grainy TV that was live. And he said, this new phenomenon on the internet here, this is live TV. He said, if you want to pay $20,000 a week to have a teleprompter and have people reshoot scenes and create these beautiful, eye-pleasing backgrounds, if you got the $20,000, go for it. But mostly, this is live TV, and this is a brand new medium. So you need to take a drink of water or whatever. Take a drink of water.
Well, we have live snow right here.
Yeah, there you go.
So you can't beat that for the backgrounds and scenery. Now, I wanted to also talk about that one more thing that I really am very passionate about is history will repeat itself if we let it. And you can look at the history of what is going on in our society. You can look at the sadness, the despair, and it's not being really addressed, and you just don't hear it. We're hopeless and helpless people, some of us. You know what? There's so much that we could do to make things better for all of our people. Do you want to talk about the Enjoy Life Community Project?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Well, what was on your agenda? So if you want to go to that before.
Yes, please. This is your format and your platform. Go ahead. And
okay. So the Enjoy Life Community Project is truly near and dear to my heart. And if you go on timetoplay.com, you can look at that. The whole goal is, behind this whole thing, is people helping people, and collaboration equals success. So I've been the president of our civic. I've been in many organizations, not-for-profit organizations, volunteer things for many, many years. And one thing that I've identified is that nobody talks to each other. And that's what I've been trying to do with the Time to Play Foundation and the professional resources like John. As a team, we're very powerful. So I created the Enjoy Life Community Project, and actually our elected officials in Brookhaven Town are extremely supportive of it. If you go, we just had a sign put up at the corner of one of our busiest streets in Port Jeff Station, but it says, welcome to our Enjoy Life community. And the beauty behind this, and this could be anywhere because it has to be micro, the beauty of this is to bridge all of the different organizations in a community. So in Port Jefferson Station, which is a pretty small community technically. We have about 8,000 families that live here, that we have 50 different organizations in our community, but nobody knows what any of the organizations are doing. So what are the good works of the organization? What is your wish list? And working together to like kind of get all of the organizations to let everybody know what they're doing and how each of us can help each other. So if we wanted to do a park cleanup, instead of the usual 6 people or the Boy Scout troop to come, maybe 600 people would come. So this is the big picture and the big vision. What is the priorities in our community? You know, and instead of an anti-drug community or an anti-crime community or a neighborhood watch community, what if we were a welcome to our Enjoy Life community? So that's something that I'm really working towards. Hopefully we can start getting those out across the United States, and that is, again, sponsored by the foundation. So recently, oh, I lost my train of thought. Wait, hang on a second. Enjoy Life communities. Oh, yes. So I had met John Salvadores, who is one of our board members as well, our business advisory board for the foundation. And I met him because, again, we're motorcycle enthusiasts. We're part of the Red Knights. The Red Knights are a motorcycle firefighter motorcycle group. And so he had sent out, he was the director of pupil personnel services at Gardner School District in Massachusetts, and they have a very high suicide rate in his community. And so he had sent out an email about 2 years ago to all of the Red Knights presidents, and Jim is the president of our chapter on Long Island. And so he and I had become friends, and he helped with the research study for the youth that we're going to be doing in the Comstock School District. But they run a suicide awareness run, and he said that it's been very hard to get people and the school districts on board with that because it's a taboo topic, as you know. Mm-hmm. Suicide, we don't talk about these things, right?
Right.
So instead, we were talking about incorporating the Enjoy Life run, Enjoy Life community, Enjoy Life, you know, there. And basically, what is anti-suicide is life enjoyment, right? If you love your life, you're not going to commit suicide. And my hope is to give people resources, how to be happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance, so that they can find what they need, they can learn what they need, so they can enjoy life. Again, we can't change not one person, but we could give them some tips and tools, and maybe they can start to pick themselves up and move forward.
Okay. So, and you know what I want to tell the viewers out there is, if you have some time, no pun intended, if you have some time, sit down with a beverage and go to timetoplay.com and just cycle through. There's a lot of information there. It's valuable information. Maybe some of it's not valuable to you per se, but may be valuable to a family member, a neighbor, somebody you work with. You know, Doreen talked a little bit about starting these initiatives all over the country, and you know, the nice thing about this internet medium is there are people all over the world that watch this and say, hey, I had that idea at one time. It's good to know that somebody's out there. Want to go back to something you talked about just a few minutes ago about the average cost of hiring somebody. Okay?
Yes.
Close to 10 grand. Every time you make an investment in a new employee, interviewing, hiring, background checks, getting them up to speed to where you can sleep at night and not worry about the building falling down around them, is about 10 grand. And every time you don't hire right, you're spending all or a portion of that money all over again. Okay?
Right.
We don't look at hiring as an investment. We look at it as a cost. And we have to change the way we do that. We have to change looking at it as saying, oh, well, I got to interview. And I work with people like this. I got to interview 15 people today. I remember a couple of years ago I had a client sat me in a room to interview for him, and I interviewed 22 people in one day. Can you imagine being the 22nd person I interviewed? I didn't care. I mean, if they stood up and told me I have a gun and I'm going to shoot you, I would have nodded, smiled, and said, that's fine, go ahead.
Oh gosh.
Because after 22 people, but one of the things, something very simple that I tell people, strategize on where you schedule that interview. You don't want to be the first one in the morning. You don't want to be the last one of the day. You don't want to be the last one before lunch, and you don't want to be the first one after lunch. So if you have an opportunity, and one of the things I like to share is that door swings both ways. You may come to me and say, John, I want to hire you to work for my foundation full time, and I'm going to pay you X amount of money a year. In the individuals I work with, I tell, if that doesn't resonate with you, okay, you have every right to walk away.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, I wish you would, because you said something about the lifer, as I call them, the 9 to 5. Oh, I can't wait till it's Friday. When will I get to retire? Sort of thing. One other comment before I have another question for you. The people in your daughter's generation, the 19 to 30s, are going to have a really big problem, because a lot of us between 55 and 65 got wiped out in 2008. And I know a lot of folks who were fixing to retire can't. So all of a sudden that ceiling's come way down. Us boomers who were looking to head to Florida or Southern California or wherever, we still have to work. And if we were fortunate enough to have positions, we're hanging on to them. So now your daughter and your son's generation come into the workplace, and so there's very little latitude right now. Okay.
A lot of jobs are also being eliminated, and we talked about this too, and our colleges are still pumping out marketing majors. You wonder, my biggest advice for kids, personally for anybody, is we have to be our own advocate, right? We are our own best advocate, whatever is the situation. But you might have a passion to do marketing or graphic art, be a graphic artist, but that's not going to pay your bills anymore. You have to maybe do that as a secondary. We have to look at the things that are available. But in honesty with our youth, so many jobs are being eliminated because of technology that's such a difficult thing. And I did write in the chapter 19, what do you want to be when you grow up, about entrepreneurial training, about apprenticeships. Many, many years ago, you wanted to be a blacksmith. They gave you an apprenticeship. So what can we do to help our youth and our kids? I hate to see them suffering. And I've been trying to get Jacqueline she's an amazing photographer. There's many, many things that she can do in order to create some sort of a position for herself instead of being a 36-year-old minimum wage employee. And these are things that just perplex me because, again, we're not taught this. We're just told, oh, you got to go get your job, go get a job, find a job. Maybe there's something better out there if we start to really look about what we can do so we can live our life. And that's the whole thing. Everything in Time to Play, it's a reminder to enjoy life. Time to Play equals a reminder to enjoy life. So I want to just discuss two things too before you go into your other questions, since I did go on there. I do have these little chips. Can you see that? I don't know if you could see that.
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. So they actually say a reminder to enjoy life, and on this day they say Time to Play. See the little logo. And if anybody is interested in this, to get one, because we are a not-for-profit, if you send a self-addressed stamped envelope, John, you can put maybe the address for Time to Play, or the contact is there if you go on timetoplay.com. I'll be more than happy to send you one. I have people that take these and they keep them in their pocket. The first thing they do in the morning, put them in their pocket. They are red. In healthcare, red is pain. Pain scales, the more pain you have, the more red it is. And I don't want anybody to have pain. I want you to eliminate your pain. So this is something you could keep as a reminder to enjoy life. If your life sucks right this moment, guess what? It's not going to suck the next moment. So This is very important. We also have products. I do have a shirt on. I don't know if you could see it. Let me see. This one has little rhinestones on it. The whole intention behind Time to Play was a reminder to enjoy life. So I know not everybody out there does go to a psychologist or a marriage, like something where they are counseled, a life coach, a business coach. But once you leave that person, a lot of times everything else gets in the way and you forget, right? So we created the product line to kind of be a crutch. This is a crutch, right, to get you over the hump. We also, when I started working in healthcare, I learned about, in the late 80s, the American Cancer Society started the Look Good, Feel Better project for people. So I'll explain what that is because a lot of people might not know, thankfully. But if a person does get cancer, their appearance changes. They now are self-conscious. They have lost their hair. They have lost weight. They don't look healthy to themselves. They look different, right? So the American Cancer Society created the Look Good, Feel Better program in order to help people feel better about themselves. They took the people, they gave them makeup, they gave them wigs, and then the person felt better about themselves when they left there. Okay, so with that in mind, I met Michael Waterman about 2 years ago. He is a 3-time suicide attempt survivor. He is the most amazing and knowledgeable makeup artist I ever met. Well, not that I meet a lot of makeup artists, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So I asked him to help me create Be Extraordinary. This was an idea that I had. So I'm going to show you. This is an example. This is the fragrance. It's unisex. It's all essential oils. The main note is bergamot. When bergamot has anti-anxiety, antidepressant properties. The first thing I see in the morning when I go into the bathroom to wash my face and brush my teeth is Be Extraordinary. I wake up every day reminding me to be extraordinary. And the blend of oils that are in here is really very helpful additionally. So it is, again, it's unisex. I had this boy from Jackie's group. He had a couple weeks ago said to me, I need some of that anti-anxiety stuff. I need all the help I can get. This is our youth, okay? Long story short, I did give him a bottle, and he said to me last week, I don't know what's in it, but people are talking to me. He goes, it could be a placebo effect. It could be something. Do you know what it's just making him feel better. And it's empowering. It's not reactive. You know, it's proactive every morning to remind you to be extraordinary. So I put together all this stuff. So what do you need so you could be happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance? Tried to kind of think of everything on the kitchen sink. So we have the resources. I know you have amazing, amazing people out there. I would love people who are able experts as we speak, right? Not people are not really an expert because you can never know everything, right? But they know stuff that they can. Everybody knows something that can help somebody else, right? So if you have people that are in the happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance areas, please contact me. Contact John. Contact me. We can conference call in. I'm looking for people like a John who can write fabulous articles to be able to give people little seeds and tips and tools that they can, at their leisure, peruse. We have over 500 articles on the website right now. But there's some really great stuff people know, right? And here's the other thing. People say to me all the time, I hear this a lot. You had asked me about challenges. Well, one of the challenges I've had is people are like, oh, well, I'm working on developing this program. I'm working on this. I'm working on, well, you're already doing it. Share it. It can't hurt if you're someplace else too, right? I'm not charging anybody any money to be part of this. I have this passion so that that person is not 80 years old in the nursing home, sitting there with regrets because they're no longer independent and they're no longer healthy and they no longer have another chance. But we can maybe give them a chance to make their life better so they can love their life.
Yeah. So. That's a real powerful message. I'm going to put you on the spot a minute. What do you wish you knew now that you didn't know then?
Oh my gosh. Well, firstly, I wish that this was 20 years before it is right now, because if I had that little jump with what I know now, you know, and because I started the foundation, not the Time to Play Foundation, not the 501c3, but the foundation of the whole idea and the whole project. But you know what? It takes a ton to learn, and I can't tell you how many books I've read and how many things I've read, all reactive, all posts, right? All posts. If I had the foresight to know now, and I was 20 years earlier, I set out to help 1 million. With no doubt, we will absolutely do that. And to help 1 million, again, I can't make anybody change, but I can help spark an awareness, right? Even with the Enjoy Life Community Project, which, oh, by the way, I have 3 main hopes for that too. Okay. In addition to creating this fabulous, positive, oh my gosh, I live in a Enjoy Life community, idea. But in that, we have 3 significant at-risk populations. Now, we have our regular worker bees who are just exhausted, so they're just in that big catchment group. But we also have our youth, as we know. We have our veterans, and we have the statistic of 22 veterans a day commit suicide, and we have our seniors. And anybody could do a little bit of research, but there's a significant depression component in our senior population. So I'm hoping that we can embrace the people in the community so that they can love their community. Like if you ask somebody on Long Island, we just had an article that was written, if anybody Googles that, they'll see Nassau and Suffolk counties of Long Island are the most expensive place to live in the entire nation. Mm-hmm. And all you hear from people when you talk to people is, oh, I can't wait till I retire and get out of here. That's not a great thing to live with every single day. The traffic. The people. It's too expensive. Like, how depressing, right? So maybe we can live in an Enjoy Life community, and maybe we can work together to decrease some costs or to do something that will help us make our lives better. Very proactive idea. Very proactive. So.
By the way, everything Doreen is sharing with you today out there will be posted in the event page, the URLs and the links to that. So after the Hangout's over and you want to come back later today or tomorrow or even next week, and you know, I meant to say this when I started with a little bit of the introduction. I met Doreen through another social media platform, LinkedIn. And we started communicating there and went back and forth. And she said I've written a couple articles for her and that I posted and things of that nature. And this is really her first scheduled hangout. So a lot of the stuff I'm talking about maybe doesn't have the impact on her it does to those of you out there in viewer land. But I'm going to post all this stuff in the event page so that if you want to get in contact with her and when you want to look at the Time to Play website, that you can do so. And like I said, it's a really neat experience, and it's different than anything you will ever be part of or ever look at, because I'm part of it, and I go there once a day, and I'm always finding stuff that, oh, I didn't know that was there. So just that real quick little aside, another question for you. And, you know, before you and I kind of started formally working together, we talked a lot. And one of the things I was really impressed about that you told me was about your children, okay? And just how focused, and, you know, you talked about your daughter kind of taking that initiative on to helping other younger people. And then we've talked a little bit here today about those people who in that age group who are depressed, who are suicidal, who are forlorn, who are just helpless and hopeless. What did you and your husband do different that your children are on that creative, proactive track?
You know what? It's really hard to say. The only thing I could really offer is that I have worked in healthcare since always, right? Since 1987, I started. I was 19 years old. I worked in a hospital for 14 years, and then I went to the nursing home 14 years ago, since 2001. And let's see, Gregory is 23, so he was 9. Is that correct? Math is not my forte.
Mine either.
Okay, so, all right. So he was like whatever age. But they came always. We volunteered always. My husband's been in the fire department since 1984, in our 83, sorry, in our local fire department. My middle son, Nicholas, is an Eagle Scout, and he's a firefighter. He's 21 years old. He is a volunteer firefighter, not in the juniors or something, but a real, non-probation, goes into the buildings, firefighter. They would come to the nursing home. They would help volunteer. We would do activities there. They would push the residents. They would ask, oh, that lady, what is on her? Or what is, why do they have no legs? And after that, they were so accepting. There's not one type of person that they would not accept. I think that had a really big impact because these were dependent population. It's not like a hospital. Hospitals, you have a very short length of stay sometimes. They're in, they're out. You don't really get to know them. But in the nursing homes, they're there every day. They're there every time you come. They're there until they either go home or they pass, right? So you get to know the people. You see the oxygen. You see the no limbs. You see them sick. You see. Maybe that's something that's helped them. My husband's a retired New York City police officer. I've heard horror stories about people who's had children who are police officers that go into drugs or other things. So it's not the police officer piece. But we've always been civic-minded. I was the president of our civic association when they were babies. Always tried to embrace the community. Always tried to make things better where we are. And they really have that in them. They're, I guess, just very community-minded. There are many, many studies about volunteerism and the benefit of anybody volunteering. One of the things that I've been working towards, too, again, I said one of the at-risk populations I've identified, and I know, is the seniors. There is a lot of depression. So I had contacted RSVP. I don't know if anybody knows about them. It's Retired Senior Volunteer Program. It's like one of the largest not-for-profits in the country. And trying to incorporate some of our seniors back into the community. In the book, I should mention, there are 17 contributors. The book does follow the Time to Play philosophy, happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance. But in the book, I did have a whole piece about our seniors and, again, devaluing of our society. Many years ago, our seniors, our elders of our communities were looked up to, right? They would tell our stories. They would tell the history. They would give us information. We don't really keep them as, I guess, valuable people anymore. They're old, right? We throw them to the side. You know what? They built our country. They've been there. They've done that, right? Lots of things to offer, but once you retire, and we throw them off to the side, right? Correct. So with the RSVP program, I'm hoping I'll be hopefully meeting with them in a week or so. Hopefully we'll somehow be able to incorporate the volunteers and get the people back in feeling like good, useful. You have to have a purpose. When I worked at the hospital and I worked at the nursing home, we had the pink ladies, the volunteers of the hospital, the men in the blue jackets, the pink ladies and the blue guys, I don't know what they call them, but, it gave them a purpose to wake up in the morning. It gave them a purpose. Every one of us needs a purpose, so those are things that I think are very important.
Okay. Well, we're just about out of time, so and I probably have 30 more questions for you. I would love to have you on again.
That would be wonderful.
I would love to. And, of course, Doreen, if anybody out there was moved and touched by what you had to say, they can contact you if they would like to make a contribution, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Correct?
Actually, I want to redo the whole website again, different format. A little bit easier. Again, it's been a work in progress, and in all honesty, the Bank of Doreen and Jim has been funding everything since we started this, but with the 501c3, I need $508 to redo the website. I found this wonderful college student in Florida. He loves this project. He's doing it, that's what he needs, so he can revamp the website. I'm working on finding a donation source for that. But yes, anything that anybody would like to donate, we're going to be starting to do some videography on How Are You Extraordinary. That also is not necessarily something that has to be done just on Long Island. With the internet, we could do that anywhere as well. I need a little bit of funding for all of this stuff. We have lots of vision. I have lots of vision and lots of hope for this project. And, you know, like I said, I set out to help 1 million spark a change, feel better about their life. And I really would love, firstly, always, you will be able to contact us always. The phone number is on the website. The email is on the website. We will answer. There is always somebody answering. But I'd love some more professional resources, people that have in their heart the reason that they would like to share, somebody that could be, tell people how to be happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance, you know, and tips and tools and anything anybody thinks can help. Look, you know what, we have a great business advisory board. We have great professional resources like John. Join us. Join us. Doesn't matter, again, where you are. We have board members in Massachusetts and California. You know, so.
Good. Thank you, Doreen, so much for taking time out of your day, because just listening to you talk, you're one of the busiest people I know, so I appreciate you taking some time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Next week, my guest is going to be Ms. Faith Barnard, and she is someone who combines love, life, work, and spirituality. She's a holistic entrepreneur, and Faith's another person I met through LinkedIn, and we spent 2 hours on the phone about a week and a half ago. So impressed with her messages, what she does in her coaching practice, that I invited her to spend some time with us next Thursday at the same time. The following week, special time, special date, I'm going to have Ms. Lena Georgiev, and some of you who follow my Hangouts, I had Lena on. She was another LinkedIn contact who became a life coach, wanted to get involved in Google+, and I kind of did a training with her on how to set her page up and everything. Found out she has an amazing, fantastic story about her own journey in health, in wellness, and some of the things she's doing in her coaching practice. And then the following week, on the 26th of March, I am going to have the podcast goddess, Miss Karen Fitzgerald, who hosts a show called Coffee and Coaching with Karen, and she has a really exciting announcement about a new initiative she's going to be doing through her podcasting website and her company. So those are a few things that are going to be coming down the pike in the next couple weeks. As soon as we go off the air here, I'm going to put the link here. If anybody out there watching wants to come in and has a question for Doreen or just wants to pop in and say hello, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'm John Jerkowitz.
Wait, I forgot something.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, firstly, I apologize. I did throw out everything on the kitchen sink, and I usually do, which is confusing, and I apologize if I overwhelmed everybody. But we do a podcast. When you said that, I totally forgot. Sure. John did a podcast with me. It's called Empower Half Hour. It's Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Of course, it is on demand. Last week, we did, yesterday, we talked about, oh my gosh, pre-invent your life. And we did the say what you want to say thing going on there, too. And this evening, Thursdays at 8:30, I'm trying to do one that is more geared to youth, although it's everybody, because, you know, it's everybody. But we're going to be doing Kill Them with Kindness tonight. It is kind of that whole say what you want to say platform. Nobody listens to us. Who listens to us? You got something that's bothering you, give us go on timetoplay.com. There's a link, Enjoy Life Podcast. Anytime anybody wants to call in, more than welcome.
Cool. And since you reminded me of one final thing you had to say, I thought of one final thing I needed to say. Special shout out to Catherine Sublime, whose birthday is today.
Oh, happy
And
birthday.
and Catherine is responsible. She handles all my social media marketing for me
Oh,
and
wow.
does an exceptional job. And as a matter of fact, I kid her real often. I get comments from people who say, I just loved what you posted on Twitter. And I'm going, what did I post on Twitter? Okay. And so today's her birthday. If you have an opportunity to check her out, it's Sublime Online Services. And with that, I'm going to stop the broadcast. I did post the link in the event page if any of you want to come into the after party, so to speak, and talk to Doreen or just simply pop in and say hello. We'd sure appreciate it. So for me and for Doreen, I hope you have a great Thursday. If you're in a part of the country where the weather's just been a bit of a challenge, smile and just remember, it's time to play.
You bet.
Take care and bye-bye.
Bye.